Hi, my name is Rich Cain, and I'm here with Financial Literacy First and Penny, our mascot. And we are here today to talk to you about why you should or maybe shouldn't hire a realtor if you're going to sell or purchase real estate. So in today's market, there are a lot of ways to go about selling your house. If you're going to buy a house, you probably want to hire a realtor, and I can talk about that a little bit later. But let's focus on this new technology that allows people to sell their house without a realtor. So it can be very easy and stress-free, and that's why some people really do it. But I can tell you that you'll probably make less money if you do that. And so you have to realize that these are businesses. So just like a realtor, they still want to make their money. Now Zillow and Redfin and Nextdoor and these other discount type brokerages that offer you a cash offer for your house, they are typically going to present an offer that looks very good. And then as you get into the contract, they have these concessions that you have to take, and it usually amounts to about 15%. When you contract with a regular realtor, you're only going to pay 6%, give or take. I can't really discuss what, because commissions are negotiable. So the commissions really aren't set with a realtor. So these are just my knowledge base of what I've experienced. So take that with sort of a grain of salt. And know that when you're working with a realtor, you can negotiate what they get paid. So those concessions that you have to take when you go with a cash buyer, like a Zillow or a Redfin or Nextdoor and some of the others, really cost you more money in the end, and you don't get the personal experience. But in some cases, it's worth it. So as an example, my mom inherited a house from a family member who had passed on, and it was just really a lot for her to deal with. And I helped her through that, but looking back, I think it would have been easier for us in the family to go ahead and just take the cash offer and be done, instead of dragging it out for so long just because it was an emotional sort of transaction. And honestly, it probably was a difference of $30,000. And at the end of the day, you have to decide whether that price is worth the difference of what you're saving, right? And so in that situation, I just think for my family, it would have been better to save my mom the emotional pain of going through that, to just, sign on the dotted line, take the money, and be done. And that's why cash buyers are attractive, because they make it a really easy, quick, painless process. But you're generally going to get less for your house, because what they do is they estimate repair costs, and then they put that back into the house, and then they want to sell it, and they need to make money on that. So they are getting both sides of the deal, and they aren't truly being fair to you to work in your interest to get the most value for your home, in my opinion. So when the other side of this, when you hire a realtor to sell your home, there's this agreement that in Colorado, it's called agency. And so what that means is, when you hire a realtor, you want them to work for you exclusively, because they could work as a transaction broker, which means that they're an advisor. So they could answer questions and present offers, but they aren't going to tell you what they think you should do based on their experience. If I work directly for you as an agent, which is what the agency agreement is, that means that I have to work as a fiduciary in your best interests. Whereas a transaction broker situation, he might have someone who's been looking for a house, and he's technically working for you, but not as a fiduciary. So then he could bring his buyer in, and he could get paid the full commission instead of splitting it with a buyer's agent. And so that's a little, I hate doing that, because I really want to represent my client and get the most for them. And that's why agency exists. So in my opinion, that's why you should hire a realtor to represent you to sell your home, is because they will work for you in your interests. There's not going to be any sort of, working to get more money. And if an agent does that in an agency agreement, please report them. Please report them. If you're buying, then you probably would like a realtor, because the cash buyer guys, if you work with them to buy a house, you're just a customer, and they don't owe you any allegiance. They don't have to explain the contract to you. They don't have to tell you what anything on the inspection report means. So that's just not really a great way to go. So a real estate transaction is probably the most valued transaction you'll ever do in your life. Most people do this once or twice in their lifetime. And it's a lot of money, and it's a big financial responsibility on selling and buying side. So you really want to make sure you have someone who has your back. So a buyer's agent also works in an agency agreement. So they work specifically for you. They're going to negotiate for you to get the best price. If they find out something's wrong with the house on an inspection, they're going to argue that we shouldn't be paying full price for this house because of these things. Now that's kind of the standard. In this market, I can tell you with demand right now, it is really difficult to get concessions because it's just a seller's market. There's a ton of demand and very little supply. Now that doesn't mean you can't find a good agent that will help you find the right place and still get a good deal, because good agents do that. And I believe I do that for my clients. So the main differences are you really want an agent who's going to work for you. And so that means you need to be comfortable with them and trust that they know what they're talking about and that they are going to represent you and your interests. Because, we work for you in that. It's you call the shots. We have the expertise and knowledge to guide you, but we're going to do what you tell us. That's the point of agency. And it really is the best way for you to get the most out of a transaction, whether you're buying or selling. I think a lot of people get maybe intimidated a little bit, but you really should talk to more than one agent. My family is probably going to knock. So don't just take a realtor because he's known to you in some fashion. It doesn't mean that you can't, but entertain other people first and actually be objective about it. Just because your mom or somebody recommended this realtor to you doesn't mean they're going to be a good fit for you. They might be, but find out for yourself. Don't just take it on that recommendation value, which, believe it or not, a lot of people do. And when I first meet with clients, I tell them, talk to other agents. You need to find someone that works best for you. I may not be that guy. I want to be that guy, but it may not be me. So it's really important that you ask questions. If you don't understand something, ask questions. You need to be totally comfortable with this person because it is a very large financial transaction. Like I said, for most people, it's the largest transaction they'll ever do in their life. It's important that you get it right. So I think that about covers it. So I hope this was helpful to you, and have a great day. I have no idea what I'm talking about, Darla.